TNA cancelled its September 14th Impact tapings in Orlando at Universal Studios due to concerns from a potential third hurricane in the area. It's thoroughly hurricane season because the Don West mentions earlier in the month that, like, thank you to all the fans who came out despite the hurricane. And now they're like, no, we're going to cancel this one.
There's a hurricane.
No, this one was Ivan, not Helms.
Oh, shit.
With many Floridians evacuating and tourism down, there may have been no crowd even if the wrestlers did show up. There was talk of the potential cancellation last week at the final Thursday taping in Orlando, and the decision was made final on Friday, at which point some of the wrestlers were told by office workers Bob Ryder and Tim Welsh. TNA tapes extra matches, usually 2 or 3 at every Impact taping. Those matches will begin to be used for Explosion, TNA's syndicated program, but may be used to fill the gaps on this episode. The plan is to get back with the first Tuesday taping on September 21 as they begin promoting their November 7th Victory Road pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
So that resulted in a weird Frankenstein Impact, which was the September 17th episode, which was a combination of matches taped for Explosion and matches that had already broadcast.
So that episode's really funny because the first match on that show was the one that I messaged you about the production being different.
Oh, well then, nope, it's the same thing.
Because it was the 6-man, right? That I think was filmed from. I think it was filmed like right after on the last week's episode. Because then immediately after that, the production quality dropped back down to being saturated and like washed out. I was like, this is very confusing for me.
That 6-man originally aired on the second episode of Impact back in June.
Did it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Did you not even notice PD didn't have the X title with him?
I did not.
So yeah, it was PD, Bobby Roode, and Eric Young against Heavy Metal, Abysmal Negro, and
I
Mr.
noticed
Agwell.
the Elite Guard coming out in that episode, and I was like,
Yeah, because another match on that show, the other non-new match, quote-unquote, was Jarrett against Lex Lovett, which originally aired on the July 30th episode, which was funny to me in that, like, that match is Jarrett wins, and then he ends shouting about Monty and Jeff Hardy.
Which they frame it like, oh, he's calling out the challenges.
And I think that this match aired before it was the Monty Hardy number 1 contenders match on the Nashville show. But yeah, they're like, oh, look, he's calling out his challengers. It's funny how, like, evergreen some of this stuff is.
Want to know a fun fact?
Shoot.
First time this match aired, I gave it a 2 out of 5. Second time it aired, I gave it a 1.5.
Oh, what does that tell you? Okay, what did you give to the 6-man? That's an interesting question. 2.25. And I hope you're inconsistent. 2! It's better the second time round, you tell me, Liam.
What can I say? They picked it up.
Hmm.
Did you purposely go back and make sure you matched your ratings?
You're damn right I did.
Hey man, I was in a different mindset.
That's interesting.
I kind of liked the Jeff Jarrett Lex Lovett match for a 1.5.
It's an interesting insight into Liam's mentality when watching these shows. Maybe it's not the matches that are bad, but Liam's willingness to give them a chance.
Wow. I really enjoyed these impacts because they were really easy to watch.
Keep what I just said in mind when we're talking about a certain America's Most Wanted Triple X feud. Just saying, guys. Just keep it in mind. The other 2 matches on that show was a Kid Cash and Dallas against Amazing Red and Chris Sabin match, which was taped September 9th before Impact. Cash won the Frog Splash. And then the main event, which was like a brief reprieve for Goldilocks, who we will talk about, will not be appearing anymore, but suddenly popped up on this episode because AJ Styles faced Alex Shelley in the main event.
In the match of the month.
That was taped on August 27th and aired here. And if the Hurricane didn't hit, that match probably would have never aired. So there you go.
I'm glad I enjoyed that match.
I was thinking they were damn lucky that they didn't have Abyss at ringside for that one, because then they couldn't have used it.
Or they would have just changed some shit.
So yeah, that's the weird September 17th episode. If you ever watch that episode and you realize, hey, I've seen this Team Canada against Heavy Metal, Abysmal Negro, and Mr. Agwell match before, you're not Liam, for one. And 2, that's the reason. Hurricane hit, they had to put together an episode with previously used matches and a couple of unaired Explosion-style matches. I
noticed it with the Jeff match.
The
Jeff match, I noticed it, and which is why I was so confused by the production thing, because I was like, I think part of the reason I didn't notice the opener was I thought it was new production.
Because, yeah, they did get new cameras, but I think it's more for the backstage stuff. Because I didn't notice any difference. So I was like, I know that there was a note they got new cameras, but I thought it was for like pre-tape and post-production stuff, not shooting.
I just thought things looked a little brighter.
They're clearly putting more money into these Impact tapings at the start.
Yeah.
Sabu is out indefinitely with cysts in his back and a viral infection. As mentioned, I think last month, we're not going to see Sabu for a good while until over halfway through 2005. TNA president Dixie Carter is pregnant. She has no prior children. There has been typical TNA. Like, the woman's pregnant, they're like, how does that affect us? There have been some concern within TNA that becoming a mother could move her priorities from making a money-losing wrestling promotion succeed to other matters like, you know, her fucking children. But those who know her best say that she remains steadfast in saying she and her family are committed to the TNA project for the long haul. TNA is said to have a 1 or 2 year commitment at Universal Studios. So Dixie's pregnant. Congratulations, Dixie.
Yeah, congratulations for 15 years ago.
Yes, for your child who's now in high school. Oh no, that child's 18. That child is an adult.
Should be starting in the Impact dojo.
He's 17 based on when she gave birth. But yeah, God, that's upsetting. After the final Wednesday taping in Nashville, wrestlers were encouraged by Jeff Jarrett to go out into the crowd and sign autographs. Styles, Hardy, D-Ray, Sharkboy, and Amazing Red were among those signing autographs to say goodbye to the Nashville fans.
Shout outs to Jeff for doing it. He got a big dog that. He could have been like, nah.
Yeah, he didn't have to, but like, yeah. Apparently, like, there's a lot of talk that Jeff is pretty down to earth in this run and pretty up for actually working for TNA as opposed to just taking money.